Hello, and welcome to the You Are Powerful podcast series. I am Dr. Christina Samycia, holistic and spiritual psychologist, and the author of The Journey of Discovering Inner Peace. Within these podcasts, my writing, and one-on-one services, I believe my purpose is to be part of this shift in consciousness and to assist others in navigating this challenging time. 2020 was such a pivotal year within this shift in consciousness, as it illuminated so many things for us. One of the main concepts that is being reflected back to us is our collective victim consciousness. As I illustrate in my book, it is so important for us to embrace that we are not victims in the world, but creators of reality. In my last few podcasts, I illustrated how our belief systems shape our reality and how to shift and change them. If you haven't had a chance to listen to them, they are available on YouTube as well as my website, ChristinaSamycia.com. Although our beliefs shape our reality, we don't necessarily have control over all the circumstances in our lives. However, we do have the ability to change how we think, feel, and respond to them. Nothing has power over you because nothing has the ability to make you think or feel a certain way. You always have a choice. Therefore, another way in which you are powerful is that you always have a choice in how you perceive and respond to situations in your life. As we travel on our life journey, we encounter situations that trigger an emotional reaction. These situations are neither good nor bad in themselves, but it is how we appraise these circumstances and the emotion it elicits that creates our distress. Although we usually blame our distress on external events, it is how we are appraising these situations, consciously and subconsciously, and the emotion it elicits that causes our suffering. Our suffering is internal because it is how we appraise reality and the emotion that it triggers. For example, if we do not get a job that we want, it is how we appraise this that causes our suffering. We may become upset because we may misperceive that we didn't get the job because we aren't good enough or because nothing ever goes our way, which triggers emotional pain. Therefore, the situation of not getting a job did not lead you to feel upset. It is how you interpret the situation. Whether we are feeling sad, anxious, angry, or whatever else is disturbing our peace, it is how we are perceiving our current life circumstances that is triggering an emotional response. Once we understand that our suffering is internally created, this takes us out of victim consciousness, and we can then feel empowered. Because suffering is created internally, the goal is to make changes to our perceptions, not to necessarily blame or fix external situations. There is a Buddhist saying, "Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional." No matter how enlightened we are, we will all experience situations that create feelings of sadness, fear, anger, and frustration. But personal growth is about minimizing not the situation, but the suffering. We suffer because instead of accepting our situation and understanding it, we appraise it consciously and subconsciously based on our story. Whether we consciously realize it or not, when something triggers an emotional response, such as sadness, for example, after a breakup, we replay our story. Whether we are conscious of it or not, we begin to think, "I am not lovable, I can't do anything right, I'm all alone," etc., which elicits and compounds the negative emotions. This is where we get into a loop of suffering. Inner peace is found when we start practicing radical acceptance, which means understanding, not attaching to the story, letting go of suffering, and accepting instead of judging our current circumstance. However, oftentimes, our thoughts and feelings appear to happen automatically because much of what we are thinking and feeling about our circumstance is happening on a subconscious level. We do not always realize that we have time to understand how we are appraising these situations and then decide how to reframe and respond to them. With practice, you can learn how to stop, pause, and assess before engaging in a response. When you are in a situation that triggers a negative emotion such as sadness, anger, anxiety, you have the opportunity to pause, then take a deep breath, and ask yourself the following questions. Why am I feeling this way? What is the situation triggering in me? How am I viewing the situation and why? How can I look at this in a different way? It is okay and even healthy to feel your feelings. However, it is not necessarily healthy to stay in these negative states. It is helpful to start taking ownership over your thoughts and feelings through self-examination and awareness. Understanding conscious and subconscious dynamics will empower you as you begin to understand why you think and feel the way you do. When you become more aware of your emotional life by understanding it and bringing it to conscious awareness, this will start to give you the ability to change your perceptions and reactions and ultimately feel more empowered. You have the opportunity right now to take charge of your life. When something happens and you feel sad, disappointed, hurt, anxious, you can choose to believe that you are powerful and understand why you think and feel the way you do and possibly feel something differently. You have control over your thoughts and emotions. And by understanding them and wanting to change, you no longer have to believe that you are a victim in your life. Therefore, if you are in a situation that is undesirable, instead of taking the victim stance and asking, why is this happening to me? It is more empowering to ask, what am I supposed to learn from this situation? Currently, we are all going through probably the most difficult time we have ever gone through collectively. It's perfectly normal to feel scared, sad, angry, etc. However, a way in which we could shift from feeling like a victim to being empowered in our current situation is by practicing radical acceptance. M. Scott Peck so eloquently stated, "Life is difficult. That is a great truth, one of the greatest. It is a great truth because only when we truly see this truth, we can transcend it. Once we truly know that life is difficult, once we truly understand and accept it, then life is no longer difficult. Because once it is accepted, the fact that life is difficult no longer matters. Being human means experiencing pain and encountering adversity. But when you realize you are not a victim in your life, you can learn how to accept your reality. Remember, you are that powerful. You have the power in how you choose to respond to any situation. Stay tuned for the next podcast when we explore how to take responsibility over our lives. If you are interested in learning more about the information presented, my book is available on my website, ChristinaSamycia.com. The ebook version is also available at most other ebook retailers.